Hey, welcome back to the Aliens Part 2.
Mind
Behind the Curtain. The Mind Behind the Curtain show. The podcast brought to you by Alex and Jose.
What up?
Today we're going to talk about the second form of alien species that we wanted to talk to you about on the previous alien podcast. And to kick it off again, it's Jose.
The Cecinian. Now, the Cecinian is a really kind of interesting species. It's a hybrid of particularly common across the cosmos and are believed to be of the alien races in contact with Earth. Some even believe that the humans, are genetically hybrids ourselves, but that's discussion for a whole nother conspiracy forum. The Cecinians are a hybrid developed by the reptilians and the greys. Now that right there is kind of crazy.
So
because
now
we were just
now
talking about the greys before.
Yeah, so now you're talking about reptilians and greys coming together,
and forming this
Cecinian. So and you know, we know about the reptilians because we've heard what's his name, David I talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And he believes that the royal family belong to the reptilian alien race.
That's why they're called the Draconian bloodline.
That's right, the Draconian bloodline. And you know what?
It makes sense.
In Mexico, in the Mayans and the Aztecs and all that, they believed in a dragon form like God.
Yeah.
Which was, for example, in the Mayan culture, Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl was one of the Mayan gods who was a reptilian himself.
Yeah.
And they would sacrifice humans on his behalf or to honor him. And there was rumors, or there have been rumors that have been passed on through generations, saying that this god Quetzalcoatl used to drink the blood of the humans that were being sacrificed, right? Especially virgins and newborns.
Yeah.
And there's a rumor, the conspiracy. We don't want to talk bad about the royal family. I remember, this is all
but it's
theories,
not only the royal
entertainment,
family we heard about.
But it's not only the royal families, right?
Yeah.
That all these elite, they practice this.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds kind of weird.
And crazy.
To be honest with you, in my opinion, I don't think they're that crazy. I don't think they're sacrificing babies and drinking their blood. But that being said, anything can be possible, right? Maybe they're doing it because they need that to survive.
Maybe it's something to do with internal youth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They believe that
eternal, not internal, but eternal youth.
Eternal.
That's right.
Eternal,
they want to live forever, right?
Yeah.
Just like vampires, right? The theory of vampires, how
blood.
vampires they drink blood.
Yeah.
So we went a little bit off topic there. Now
good.
maybe they've been practicing these Sicilians. What are they called? Sicilians. They sound like an Italian mob. Out of space. The mafia has been through the cosmos forever. So this race, they mix with the greys in order to create what? Do they to make them stronger, to make them human-like? What did they say? What did it say?
Okay, I gotta read this a little bit more. So they basically mutated themselves through genetic experimentation.
Right.
Okay. And to what point would they actually reproduce using confidential means of alien sex?
Confidential.
Yeah. Alien sex.
Alien sex. So
what is alien sex?
Well, that's the thing that we were talking in part 1. That
because
it's the same gender,
are the
right?
Same gender. So
you brought up something in one of our conversations where you said that these aliens, the way they have sex is through telepathic energies, and nowadays humans are practicing Reiki and all that stuff, right? Again, going back to the reference of the Bible, Virgin Mary,
she just got pregnant and didn't have sex.
She was exactly. She didn't have sex, so I guess we can say the way Jesus was conceived was confidential.
Yeah.
It's confidential sex.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So
and they also say here they're able to spawn new generations by cloning themselves.
Damn.
And we've been talking about cloning for a long time with the.
And you know what? Technically, we are cloning ourselves. Us, human race, like the human race is cloning ourselves, but obviously we're not having confidential sex. We're having like normal sex, and that's how we, do the math, and that's how we clone ourselves. Man, I've been in so many trips down to Mexico, man, and I've been to Playa del Carmen. Mm-hmm. I've been to the Mayan Riviera, where there's a lot of tourists come to this area, right, from all over the world. And I have a friend of mine that lives there, and she said that she met a guy that was just like me, like exactly like me, looked like me, talked like me. The guy had the same energy.
Double
ganger,
ganger.
Double ganger, yeah. We'll get these terms right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
And anyway, I forgot to turn on the light. Doesn't matter, but anyway, so that's why probably we're messing up these lines. But yeah, and I've met myself. I've met some people that remind me a lot of other people, man, and they're just identical. Sometimes they don't even look alike, but they're just their energy, the way they speak, the way they talk, they're just the same. It's like a clone of a clone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, double ganger.
Yeah, and there's definitely somebody out there that is exactly like me, going through the same experiences.
And if
as
not
me.
here, it's gonna be in an ultra universe.
And if it's not here, somewhere else, exactly.
Where we're not screwed up like this.
No. That brings back, like, why would you clone yourself, right? Like, why would, like, I mean, if I had a chance to clone myself, I would clone myself, but I would just make myself a little bit better. I wouldn't completely 100% clone myself. I'd be like, okay, my next version would be like Alex version 2.5. Like I'd be like, a few inches taller. Yeah. You know what I mean? Make sure I don't lose my hair by the time I'm 25. Make sure I have a mind that can make me millions. You know what I mean? If I had that chance to do it.
Yeah.
So
very true.
So maybe what they've already reached is a stage in their evolution where they are satisfied with what they are, and they're like, and that's why they clone themselves, because now they're like, hey, and it's kind of like a bit of a narcissist mentality, but they're like, that's it. This is the best versions of ourselves.
Well, that's just like the elite that we were talking about earlier. They want to come reincarnated back into those families, so that's kind of basically cloning themselves.
So what you're saying technically with what I just said is that the elite consider themselves the best version of themselves. Like that's the best that they've ever going to be. And so they're like, let's just keep cloning ourselves. Yeah. Not only to carry the bloodline and maintain power, but everything else. Yeah, that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why these aliens, they're like, you know what, let's just keep it in the family. And that's why they're cloning themselves. They don't want to break out of their circle.
Yeah.
They are a mafia. Yeah, gotta get that gray blood and then mix it with our blood to make more of us, La Cosa Nostra. Oh man. Okay, so what else is interesting about these aliens?
They basically say in here that they're interstellar cousins of ours.
Interstellar cousins of ours. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, perfect time to turn on the light here. Yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah, so I guess that's telling us that we are turning to grays.
Well, going back to that, because
remember, this is all.
And isn't that what we say about like apes and monkeys and gorillas?
Yeah.
We say they're cousins of ours. They're like us.
I don't think we evolved from them though.
Well, that's another theory too. Like I don't believe it either.
I don't believe that.
I believe that they're a version of us. Because obviously they have a lot of similar characteristics. For sure, 100%. They could be another experiment. Yeah. They could just be another species that are not us.
Or they were brought from another planet, here.
There was a story about this. I don't know if you heard it about this albino gorilla. Here, let me pull it up, man. It's like an albino. Here, hold on.
But they're getting smarter and smarter, dude. It's gonna be Planet of the Apes pretty soon before an alien invasion.
Well, that's what I was gonna get to, man.
You know what I always say? I always say movies are either where we've been, where we are, or where we're going.
Yeah.
Because it's subconsciously it's creation from the universe
for
that's
sure.
given to us, right?
100%.
Creativity.
Yeah.
And it's formed into movies on a screen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I believe that's either they're what is it called?
Astral travel?
Astral traveling, through the cosmos. Maybe even going through their Akasha records.
Yep.
And finding out things about themselves and be like, oh, I gotta write this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Because this is what's gonna happen. Okay. I mean, it's like AI.
Yeah.
We're going into that, and AI has been in movies forever.
Yeah. It's almost like they're preparing us for what's to come. Again, they're preparing us to what their future is gonna be.
Yeah, like Odyssey.
Yeah.
It showed the tablet for iPad.
Oh, yeah,
an iPad,
for sure.
Right? And we were like, oh, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's not gonna
You're talking about
cool, but it ain't gonna happen.
2000 Odyssey.
Yeah.
So this apparently this white albino gorilla. I mean, I found out that he's been around forever now, right? And it brings back the theory that once in a while the DNA gets altered and it gets mixed up. So, like for example, you have
like the indigo children,
like the albino African children. But yeah, this is.
I wish we could show the audience.
I mean, yeah, this is maybe I can do that. Like, check out this guy, man. Like, I mean, if he doesn't have personality, I don't know what.
Yeah.
I mean,
he looks like he's smiling and laughing,
dude. And you see him walking, and he's just walking. He's just walking like a human being, man. And he's just walking around, and obviously he's got all these muscles and stuff, right? But going back to what I was trying to say is that you have all these sheep, right, that look the same, but all of a sudden the DNA gets altered.
And the black sheep come out.
And a white sheep comes out instead of all these black, these black, or maybe a black sheep comes out of all the white. Yeah, all the white. Yeah. And what alters that DNA, right? And I believe, my theory is that a lot of diseases like with the coronavirus and all this stuff alters our DNA. And maybe that sheep got sick. Maybe this gorilla got sick. Or not him, but his mother or father got sick, so their DNA got altered. And when it came to conceive him, that DNA that got altered by a disease or something that got him really sick, a virus or a bacteria,
right?
Altered their DNA. So now that's passed on to the child. So now the child is born white. You know what I mean? It's
but
born
look at
light.
albino Africans too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So and look how long they've been messing around with the African people, man. Like with vaccines and all this stuff, right? And how many diseases have been discovered over there. That being said, it's a theory. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But yeah, this white gorilla, man. Like basically, we're witnessing. A part of evolution. We're witnessing a clone being made
on a gorilla revolution.
On a gorilla revolution or evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah. Evolution. We're gonna see him
protesting. Revolution when Planet of the Apes come out on our ass.
Yeah, man. And you know what? That movie could come true one day.
It could
come true one day.
It could.
You give these guys free will, right? And because they do have some type of free will. Mm-hmm. And other people say they don't have a soul, but I believe they have a soul. They gotta have a soul.
Yeah.
But they can't rationalize like humans. But if they're taught, then they can. Look at all these.
And that's what Planet of the Apes was about, actually, too. When it first
and the vaccine that was injected into them to cure a disease.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Obviously, we're not gonna see gorillas rioting in Washington anytime soon, but it could happen.
It could down the road.
So my point of messing around with DNA is that it's somehow
genetically transformed.
Yeah, it's sometimes it could be for the better or for the worse.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or maybe they're just taking a gamble, man.
I think they took a gamble with us.
They took a gamble with us.
Yeah.
And if we're cousins of these mafia, universal mafia guys.
I mean, yeah, that's crazy shit.
You know, maybe they're like these guys. These guys would be perfect to live on planet Earth, but maybe not. Mm-hmm. And they've given us also borrowed time. Like they've given us time to like live, like, you know, maybe max 100 years, 120 years, and that's it. That's like we're not gonna give them more. And maybe these guys figure out how to live longer.
It sounds like they have. They're just looking at it like, I mean, you know, they're given their own planet, evolved into the best beings that they could possibly be.
See, that goes back to my point. That's they're satisfied. They're like, that's it. They're like, we're the best. We're the best that we can ever be. Let's stay here. And
they have a stronger connection with their higher selves. So higher level of consciousness.
Yeah, so they're definitely evolved their pineal gland, and they definitely have their third eye open. You know what I mean? So that also brings back the thing about every species needs to be enlightened, right? Yeah. Every species, every alien race, in a way, is also looking for enlightenment.
And listen to this. The Tsunami. Okay, tsunami.
The tsunami.
It sounds like one of them big ass waves.
Yeah, the tsunami.
Okay. Anyways, they're believed to be where humans will one day be, and although they're millennia way ahead of us, 15 alien races that are actively engaged in humanity's consciousness awakening.
There you go. And that goes back to what I was telling you before, that, you know, we've been influenced somehow. Mm-hmm. Somebody's influenced. Somebody's whispering in our ear like, "Hey, develop an electric car. Here's the blueprint." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tesla. Yeah, Tesla. Elon Musk. Yeah. You know, in his interviews.
Do you think he's the reincarnation of Tesla?
Could be, man. Could be. Or maybe his spirit or something his, like, part of his DNA.
Maybe he tapped into his Akashic records.
That's right. Tapped into something, man.
All these people that are so coming out with
ideas,
not even inventions, and all these type of things around
everything
us.
That's innovative.
Yeah, totally innovative. I mean, it always makes you think, like, are they reincarnated of other individuals from our past? And were those individuals reincarnated from another past of us that were Atlantis?
Mm-hmm. Well, that theory is definitely something that it could be factual, because we just keep getting smarter, better, you know, like just like how these like...
And we evolved like so fast.
Like, and it's like... And if there was an alien race behind us, right, that is whispering all these thoughts ideas into us and pushing us, like Elon Musk is in his interviews, he said that he can't stop thinking. Even when he goes to sleep, he keeps thinking and dreaming about all these things.
I think he's tapped into something.
So if there's a telepathic power out there that these aliens are putting in there, sure, and there is 100%. If you tap into the universe, there's some type of form of energy.
When I was younger, I had some type of ability. I felt. And I was scared. And if you don't grasp onto that ability and accept it and shy away from it, it'll be taken away from you.
That's right.
And I think I was scared of it because I woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I looked underneath my bed, and I was like, this high off of the ground with me and my bed.
So you were levitating. Your bed was levitating.
I was levitating, basically.
Shit.
And then I just was so scared. I put the covers over, and the bed bounced back down.
You're like, I don't want this powers.
Yeah. And then there was other things besides that happened to me, right? That were just unhuman.
Right.
To tell you the truth, and I couldn't accept it. I was like, I was too scared.
Yeah.
I had such a great intuition of things. Like whenever my grandmother or my mom would lose something, I'd close my eyes and I could find it instantly, just like that.
You knew where it was.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, have you looked by the cereal box? Yeah, and it's right there.
And somewhere that I'd never been before.
Yeah.
I would remember that place for some reason.
That's right. It's
weird, like a past life maybe.
No, you know what? I agree with you, because I I have the same thing. And the thing about past lives, yeah, maybe you've already lived that experience before in a past life, and so this is kind of like, you know how to handle it. This is going back to the Akashic records, like, you've already experienced that, so you just go into your files and say, how did the previous Jose handle that?
Yeah.
What's the best outcome? Oh, that was a good one. Okay, yeah, he went to the car and looked for the keys there. Yeah. Okay, and they were there. Perfect. Yeah. Same thing happens to me all the time, bro. Same thing, man. The last thing, and we're gonna wrap this up soon. The last experience I had with my sister, that she lost her keys. She was, she gave the keys to my nephew. My nephew was like, I don't know where I left them, blah, 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 blah. I said, did you look in the car? It's probably in the car. And I had a feeling and I had a vision of the keys being under the seat. She calls me the next day and she says, they were underneath the seat. You know what I mean?
See? Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like you just have to tap into that and tune in, because every object, everything in this universe has a frequency. It emanates a type of energy. This pen emanates an energy, emanates a color, emanates a frequency. So if you can tap into that, you'll know where that is. You know what I mean? You'll know where that is at all times. And we can do that with humans too. You can tell, but that's another topic. And we'll talk about that, about astral travel and connection with humans, and using that energy and that formula of the universe to connect. And that's where Reiki power and all that stuff comes in place. Yeah. All right, man. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
Let's close it off with one last thing about these aliens.
Well, the next one that we're going to be talking about down the road is Arcturians.
Arcturians. They sound like they invented bow and arrows. All right.
This guy and his metaphors.
That's it for part 2. Aliens.
Peace.
The mind behind the curtain.
Nano.